Welcome to The Explainer. You know, if you've ever driven through one of those really thriving, bustling downtowns and thought, wow, how did they pull this off? Well, you're going to absolutely love what we're looking at today. It's a true masterclass in urban revitalization. We're focusing our lens right on the Michiana region, specifically looking at the incredible emerging renaissance of downtown Goshen, Indiana. It's this amazing story of architecture, community, media, and just pure grassroots passion that really serves as a blueprint for pretty much any city. So here's the big question we really want to answer today. What is the secret recipe for bringing an American downtown back to life? Because let's face it, for decades, we've watched so many small and mid-sized cities just struggle with empty storefronts and quiet streets. But Goshen, they totally flipped the script. And the best part? They didn't rely on massive corporate buyouts or those flashy artificial marketing campaigns. They used a much more grounded, sustainable approach, and we're going to unpack exactly how they did it right now. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our agenda. 1. The secret to revitalization. 2. Walking through history. 3. A calendar of community. And 4. Amplifying local voices. Section 1. The secret to revitalization. Every Renaissance needs a spark, right? And in Goshen, that spark was actually a visionary couple, David Pottinger and Faye Peterson. Starting back in the mid-1980s, they didn't just, collect antiques. They started actually saving old forgotten buildings in downtown Goshen. But what makes their approach so unique is captured perfectly in a quote from Dave. He says, "Neither one of us has any feeling of ownership. It's not about us." I just love that. This wasn't some giant real estate monopoly play. This was a really humble, grassroots philosophy. They firmly believe that if you truly focus on your community and its interests, the outside world will find you. So it's community-driven growth, not top-down corporate marketing. Their method was, honestly, incredibly incremental and deliberate. Step 1, just restore the buildings. They famously started with the South Side Soda Shop, bringing back that classic 1950s diner feel. Step 2 was partnering with young entrepreneurs who had the drive but maybe lacked the space. And Step 3 was cultivating arts and local businesses. They bought and renovated these century-old spaces, literally saving them from the wrecking ball, and then filled them with vibrant, dependable local business owners who put in the daily work to make the city thrive. So the crucial point is this concept Faye Peterson calls fertile ground. The Pottingers had the time and the capital, sure, but the timing worked because Goshen itself was fertile ground. You had creative, motivated graduates sticking around from Goshen College, you had a low cost of living, and you had a local population that deeply valued sustainability and supporting one another. When you combine historic restoration with that kind of civic soil, well, organic community growth is pretty much inevitable. All right, Section 2, Walking Through History. See, Goshen didn't just pave over its past. They really leaned into it. They leveraged it. You can actually see this evolution conceptually mapped out on a simple 1-mile walking tour, starting in 1888 with the Adams Store on South Main, which was a prominent dry goods establishment and is now, very fittingly, the home of the Goshen Historical Society Museum. Then you move over to the Elkhart County Courthouse Square, that 19th century civic anchor that brought law and commerce to the whole region. And finally, you walk the early 20th century Lincoln Avenue corridor. It perfectly showcases how the city adapted its infrastructure as horse-drawn wagons gave way to the automobile. Now, this 60 to 90-minute self-guided journey isn't just about, admiring old bricks. It is a very deliberate act of preserving the past. By keeping these specific buildings intact and making their stories accessible, Goshen ensures that its incredibly rich heritage of industrial growth, public life, and everyday history remains visible for everyone. It gives modern residents a profound sense of place and identity, which is absolutely essential for a thriving modern downtown. Moving right along to Section 3, a calendar of community. Because think about it, beautiful historic buildings are really just empty shells without people inside them. The true beating pulse of Goshen's daily life is its incredibly active community calendar. And this brilliantly illustrates what I mean. Just look at the sheer volume across these pillars of engagement. You've got massive First Friday festivals and car shows. You have a booming fitness scene with early morning beatbox garage workouts and the Nest and Grow 5K, and a thriving arts and education sector. Everything from lifelong learning pottery classes at the Greencroft Community Center to martinis and music nights at the Goshen Theater. There is literally something for everyone. This completely shatters that outdated stereotype of the quiet, sleepy Midwestern town where the sidewalks roll up at 5 p.m. The reality of modern Goshen is that it's bustling. Whether you're looking for an intense cardio kickboxing session, maybe an indie folk music concert at the local brewing company, or a deep dive author talk at the public library, the schedule is packed. And this density of events is exactly what keeps a downtown economically and socially alive. A massive driver behind all this activity is Downtown Goshen Inc. and their legendary First Fridays. Now, these aren't just your standard little sidewalk sales. These are major, monthly tentpole events that consistently draw people together all year round. From the Great Goshen Car Show in the sweltering heat of July, right through to the Fire and Ice Festival with live ice carvers in January, they have engineered a reliable, recurring reason for people of all ages to come downtown, spend some money, and actually connect with their neighbors.
Section 4. Amplifying local voices.
Now, a thriving town like Goshen obviously doesn't exist in a vacuum. To see how the entire Michiana region stays connected, we kind of have to zoom out to the macro level. And that brings us to PBS Michiana WNIT. Serving as the regional megaphone, this station, under the leadership of General Manager Greg Gitze, has made meaningful local programming a core pillar of its mission. They don't just broadcast national feeds, They actively produce and champion stories that reflect the actual people living in their broadcast radius. They are really the connective tissue for the region.
A really perfect example of this is their incredible Women in Leadership documentary series. This programming goes deep into the community, highlighting women who saw problems and just created solutions. The series covers local entrepreneurs, legal experts pushing for positive change, education innovators, and some amazingly brave first responders. By putting these local heroes on screen, PBS Michiana elevates the entire region's civic pride and provides amazing role models for the next generation.
Let's move to and see how this builds a complete cycle of community development. PBS Michiana takes these hyper-local stories and broadcasts them to the wider region. For example, they aired Vital Passage. That was a documentary produced by Goshen College about Midwestern Jewish merchants in downtown Goshen who literally risked their livelihood to provide passage for Jews escaping the Holocaust. When a regional network amplifies a powerful local story like that, it just reinforces the historical importance of the town, which in turn drives more interest, more tourism, and more community pride. It's this beautiful feedback loop. Which brings us to our final takeaway today. We've seen the blueprint. It takes humble individuals willing to restore historic buildings, a real commitment to preserving the past, a vibrant and diverse calendar of local events, and a strong local media network to amplify it all. So I want to leave you with this question to chew on. What pieces of the Goshen blueprint can your community use to spark its own renaissance? Look around your own downtown. The fertile ground might already be there, just waiting for a spark. Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.